Hey everyone, I wanted to create a real fun Christmas card today using a Christmas tree, kind of an outline, and a special brush stroke to do it with, and just a couple of different techniques. So if you'd like to make a Christmas card with me, give us a watch. So I wanted to make a Christmas card with a Christmas tree on it, and just with different real simple steps. I'm using a size 8 round brush. I'm just going to start, this is actually going to be the bottom of the tree, so I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I'm going to go around in kind of a skirted pattern there, and then I'm just going to keep bringing that same stroke, and all I'm doing is touching my brush to the paper. I'm not really pushing down, I'm just touching it there. And then you just keep going out to the sides like an evergreen tree would do. So we're kind of mimicking the way that looks. And every time that you come back up to do this step, make sure you do some on the outside. You're gonna narrow this by a few strokes. So you're going up the tree, and it's getting smaller and smaller as you go. So eventually we're going to reach the top of our tree, and we're getting pretty close here. But I kind of like to go back and just give it that little random effect where those sides are poking off. And then I'm going to flip her around, and we're going to put a couple here at the top. And they're going out. And we're gonna have that pointy spot at the top. Now, this has to dry. There's the pointy spot at the top. This has to dry, and then we're gonna cut it out. No, actually we're not gonna cut it out. We're gonna let it dry, and then we're going to add a darker green to it for a layering effect. Then we're gonna cut it out. Okay, our picture is about 90% dry. So now I'm going to come in with a darker green color, and we're going to do the same brush patterns, and just kind of random where you might see a shadow of the upper branches there. You're not going to cover the whole tree with it. Just kind of here, and there. Just however you think it looks good. And again, this is not meant to be a stressful activity. This is supposed to be a fun one. So don't stress about where to put the extra colors. Just kind of randomly place them around your tree. The symmetry of your tree, don't worry about that. There isn't an evergreen on this planet that I have seen that is like the perfect shape or size. So we're gonna let this one dry, or I'm going to dry it with my dryer, and then we're going to cut it out. So I'm taking just a little bit of time to cut around these edges. They're kind of pointy, and I'm cutting the white off around the edges for the most part. And I'm a little more picky about it, so I take my time. You could probably just cut around in like a V shape or an A shape, and it would be fine too. But however you want to do it. Like I said, this is supposed to be a no stress project. Okay, so there's my cutout version of him. Our next step is I'm going to grab just a small piece, oops, I keep bumping the camera, of scrap paper, and I'm going to draw or paint, you can paint it for sure, a star. So, and I always have people go, how do you make a star? I don't have any good leads on that. So what I do, let me get my pen a minute. I make the typical star like we learned to do back in grade school. I think my pen is almost down to ink. So I would do a star like this. So you have the star shape, and then just fill it in. Real simple, okay? Now, because this is a paint marker, you have to let it dry before cutting it out. Otherwise you're gonna smear it. And I know that because I have learned the hard way. So while we're letting our little star dry, I'm gonna get back to my tree, and I'm just gonna draw some gold circles for ornament, just kind of randomly all over your tree. And I'm using gold, but you could use, you know, you could do retro colors if you're into that. And you could paint the tree. I did a tree over the weekend for a customer that was more pink and purple because that's what they wanted. And I was kind of leery of it, but it turned out really cute. So never underestimate what you can do or what colors you can use. So, and you could put a garland on it if you want to. That's also an option. So we have to let that dry too. And I think our star should be dry. No, see, my thumb is not completely dry. So I'm gonna use my dryer and dry this real quick. Star, I said tree. Okay, I've got my little star cut out. I'm gonna put the tape on him if I can. It's such a tiny little thing. You could also use stick glue or whatever would work. And I'm just gonna put it right up here at the top of my tree. Ta-da. And then the last thing we're gonna do with our card, it looks really good just like this. We could leave it this way. We could write with our marker down here at the bottom, Merry Christmas, however you wanna do it. But I've also gotten into like creating these little circular messages. And we could do that where we just put it on there somewhere, give it balance. I like putting them at the top. This one's green. If you can see it, it says Merry Christmas on there. So we can do that, or you can make a different one, however you want to do it. I can flip it over and make it darker, but I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put that tape, the two-sided tape on it, and I'm going to put it right up at the top. So our tree has a message, Merry Christmas. And that's our finished product. Again, you can open it. Let me back up just a little bit. You can open it and have a place to personalize your Christmas card, and then just a pretty little tree on the front that looks kind of three-dimensional. All right, thanks for stopping by.